standard Star Wars host, Dan Tartaglione, better known as D Tartag One, coming to you live this afternoon with a European Cup game. This is actually a winner take all game, so it's going to be interesting. For those who don't know, the European Cup is currently going on right now. That is instead of the normal European Cup where they have it at in Germany. Everything's strictly online. It is a team-based event where 12 teams are participating. 12 teams of 3 members. Each team assigned one of their members to a different role. So we actually have 3 different types of games being played. First one is open, so you can see like your normal no idea, legends, CCT, court, hunt down, ISB games. Then you have the Jawa format, so you won't see any of those top tier decks. And the last one's kind of interesting. I like this one. It's known as the VR format. This is where certain cards are banned. So anything that is rare or premium are banned. Anything that is a virtual card is allowed. And the deck itself, no idea, is banned as well. So I know the person who came up with this, Thomas, felt like no idea would be played by everybody because it's predominantly a virtual card deck. So, and the other big thing is it's a Highlander deck. There can only be one of a card in the deck. So, say you want to play a deck like, Diplo. You could only have one of each card in the deck. So you can't have like a card like, so you couldn't have a card like Strike Planning, but you can play Diplo because it plays the Tance of 4. So you can't, so there won't be any decks like Throne Room, there won't be any Hunt Downs, there won't be any, what's another good deck? There won't be any decks that have any rares in them. So CCT, you won't, or any Scum. You won't see a single Scum deck being played because Scum itself is a rare card. So in this format, you could only have virtual cards and uncommon and common cards. So I like this. It's new, it's different, and we're actually going to see a winner take all game between CRG, fan of the Hollow Theater, Matt Lutz, and Fox. I don't recall who Fox is, but the teams are basically, so this is Team Frost Wozel versus the H Town Crew. So again, this is a winner take all match. This is to get in, and we'll see what's being. So looks like Fox is playing court, but it's like I said, it's you're not going to see Scum in the deck. Scum is a rare, whereas CRG is going with Legend, who a lot of people before this format started said that Legend's going to be the most popular light side deck, and it kind of makes sense because Legend itself has a lot of virtual cards in it. We see that Yoda, thank you. Fox is from the Netherlands, so it's America versus the Netherlands. So this is going to be interesting. Fox has started court. We see that he has Quietly Observing, virtual, Combat Response, and Quad Drive Yards. So you can start the Quad Drive Yards even though it's a rare. But again, it's virtual, so... And yeah, this is going to be... I like this. This is going to be fun. CRG going with Walkling. Rebellions are built on hope and brave resistance. All virtual cards, so they're all legal. You don't again. We won't see the Strike Planning because Strike Planning's a rare card. So let's see. Yep, CRG posting the stream is live. So if you want to watch me talk about this format. Okay, so again, Fox has gone with this Quietly Observing, the Combat Response, and Quad Drive Yards. Interesting. Okay, CRG is going to grab his Profundity. So, okay. Interesting that he didn't go with the Jabba's Haven. You're not going to see the normal build for Court because, I mean, battle plan and battle order and the first strike, that's a rare. Jabba's Haven, again, is a virtual card, so, I mean, it could be played. Okay, so he activates a 7. Matt deciding to go with the Anti-Chamber as his starting location. Okay, Fox taking his time. He uses his objective, looks for a docking bay or a ship. There is no system, so I mean he can't get the ship out, but he's got to have a docking bay in there. He only activated 7. And for those who are wondering, all defensive shields are legal in this format. I think at this point, all defensive shields are legal in every kind of format just because it makes sense. But there is the Coruscant docking bay. So I really want to see what this Court build is. It's going to be interesting because, like I said, he can't play Scum. He can't play Boba Fett Bounty Hunter because he has a premium from Reflections 3. Okay, there. So he's revealing Hondo Onaka and Erica. Erica is a smart choice because a lot of people felt like, again, Legend would be a very good deck. Another good deck that would people were talking about was Old Allies. Two decks that Luke's going to be either not on the table at all or he's just going to be on the table for a little bit. But again, with Erica, as long as Luke is not at a battleground, you're going to be retrieving a force each turn. You're right. Fox did finish 8th last at the last Worlds last year over in Germany. He also pulls the Fanfare, so that tells me right now that he's playing Zizor's Bounty. That's a good card, especially because if he throws, like he just threw down the Erica, so now that gives you a little bit more protection for Erica. Okay, he's got to wipe them out, all of them in his hand, so that's a good start. I like that. So he can essentially draw those 2 last cards, activate one on CRG's next turn, and have the force for Zizor's Bounty. But I think if you're CRG, I think the plan is to just do your normal Legend thing where you pull the 2-0 sight so you can get Luke down for 3. But again, because he doesn't have strike planning, you won't see General Leia in his hand. Okay, he's using his 2 last cards to go get a battleground system. He did, again, we just saw CRG pull the Profundity, so giving him a place to go with the Profundity is really interesting. Court, all objectives were legal in before the start because all the objectives themselves, with the exception of like the PC created ones and like Hyperdrive and Senate and those ones, all of them are rare and premium. So that's the only other stipulation to this format is objectives themselves are legal. Okay, and he goes out and gets Kashyyyk. So again, because now Hutta is a rare. So again, there's the he has the saddle from his hand. Interesting. Yeah, again, this is a winner take all fight, so it's going to be interesting to see who wins. So he gets the saddle out. Okay, he went with the cliffs. So once he does put so force projection is going to be immune to sense. So Dylan rooting for Fox because he's their teammates. Okay, that makes sense. And yeah, CRG is going to go look for the Luke. And Fox putting a little bit of pressure early on. There's the Erica. I mean, with Erica down, he's threatening a drain of 1 already and retrieving 1. So essentially, that's a 2-4 swing. Okay, there goes Luke down to the saddle. So yeah, this is a totally point based system, according to Dylan in the chat. For those who are wondering, so apparently Fox is the everything rides on is riding on Fox to win this. He is the apparently he's the only member of the team to who has not gotten a point for the team. Uh, I don't know how to pronounce the team name. Is it Frost Wuzel? Frost Weisel? Apparently, Dylan beat English is Frost Root. Okay, Frost Root. Okay, I'm glad that I have a little bit of help with my pronunciation. Okay, so CRG has Lore Santeca in his hand, so he's going to use Brave Resistance to put him back and get a card who is less than or equal to the ability of Lore Santeca. Lore Santeca is an ability for character, so he can go get Ray, he can go get Solo, Chewie, Poe. He can go get a lot of characters, and like I said, he has the Profundity in his hand, so I think if you're CRG, I think you want to go a little slow here. Just because I mean, Court has a lot, has really good space package, and a lot of that space package is virtual, so it's going to be in play in this game. Ah, okay. Well, I'm just going to call your team Frost, so that way I don't offend anybody. I'm glad to see a lot of the European players are watching right now. Normally, when I do streams, I'm on later in the evening on the west coast of. I'm in California, so I don't have a lot of European presence on my streams. So it's good to have you guys here, and I'm glad to see you guys are participating. I like this event. I like the format of this as particularly. So okay, so there is so Ray comes down to the pit, so he's gonna avoid the ping of one, but Ray coming down early, interesting. So I don't know if I like that in particular. I would rather have seen like an EPP Ray if any possible. But he does grab a card with Ray. He does also draw a card from the bottom of his force pile. He's got one saved in his force pile, so hopefully he's got a barrier, but it would be his only barrier. Okay. And there is the battle plan. Now, let me see. Let me double check and see if Fox had both. Okay, so he did reveal Hondo and Erica from the reserve deck. Okay, and there's the simple trick. So Fox will not be able to retrieve with Erica this turn. Yeah, I would love to see this as a strict format. I know the GIMP guys are working on set 13, so maybe after set 13 drops, we could get this encoded into GIMP. Okay, CRG going to take force projection with Luke. Okay, Fox has he's got 12 in his force pile, so let's see what he can do about that Ray. He's got 8 cards in his hand. We know that one of them, again, is the Zizor's Bounty, or Zizor's. Okay, and those who are not watching this game, I know Joe Olson is streaming a Bastion versus. Double check. Again, let me just double check that. Yeah, Joe Olsen is currently streaming the Echo Base Trooper match versus Bastion. So over on his channel, for those who are wondering, is twitch.tv/a rebel spy. So that one's pretty interesting. And it looks like they're going to be playing tomorrow as well. So they're playing game one right now. Also, it looks like tomorrow, Justin Desai and Greg Shaw will be playing their first round, their first match of the OCS Cup. So got a lot of goings on tomorrow. Yeah, Legend does have access to a lot of good cards. Don't get me wrong. Um, like you see most of its space package. It does have the Profundity, the Tantive, the Gold Leader and Gold One, the Wedge in Red Squadron One. But again, because this is a Highlander format, you're only going to see one of those cards. So that's the only Ray that CRG has, with the exception of a Ray with lightsaber. Um, he can't play. He's only gonna have one Rose. He can't play the strike planning. No Lando scoundrel. So yeah, he could have the interrupt for her. So there is a lot. I like the format, and I do agree that there is some outliers on the deck, but yeah, he could have the interrupt, but again, he can only play one. So I mean, you could, like I said, you could play the Falcon in this format, but you can't play all wings combo. So I think like the people who created the format did a good job on figuring out that there are going to be some, like, light side is really strong with decks like OA, with decks like Legend, but at the same time, I mean, I like the creativeness. Like, we're seeing a court built that's not going to have scum, that started three different effects than we normally see. So we'll see what happens right now. Okay, so there's Dooku. So Dooku coming down now. I again, yeah, that's smart. So CRG is going to play the do or do not shield, so that indicates that he doesn't have sense in the deck. But Dooku coming down right now indicates that he doesn't want to battle the Rey. He's going to allow Rey to just sit there for a little bit, and he's just going to draw up. So he reinforces on Erica with Dooku. And again, because you can't play the scum, you have access to cards like Dooku and Erica. And that's a good point. A lot of this set 13 information just came out, and there is a new hunt down objective with a new visage, so it's going to be interesting to see what people are going to do with that deck. Okay, CRG grabs a card with Rey and will start his turn. So both players do have a lot of force they can work with. Okay, Fox drawing up to 12. Both players being cautious of that 12 card hand size, making sure that Monarch and Grimtosh don't come into play. And it's interesting that players, being that this is a Highlander type of format where you can only play one of a card, you would think that Grimtosh and Monarch wouldn't be played as much, because one of the big thing about it is the lost part of the interrupt is you use 4 force, your opponent reveals their hand, any duplicates go lost. Well, that's not going to come into play in this format, so it's interesting that he just stuck at 12, thinking that CRG has the Grimtosh. So he's going to put back Rose, and he gets the Poe Dameron. So Solo's coming down, so reinforces on the pit. And BB-8. So that right there adds a little bit of damage. So, and it only cost him 6 force, so he's got 7 left. He's still got he still has the force projection in his hand. So, and he's got the profundity. Now the question is, what those 7 cards are. I personally, I would like to see him come down with another card because you don't want to lose the Solo or the BB-8 right away. Rey with lightsaber is kind of hard to get out of your deck because the only card that can really pull her with a Brave Resistance is General Leia. I mean, those are 3 cards you really, really don't want to see go lost, especially right away. Okay, and then let's see if CRG goes over 12 cards here. So he just deploys the Solo and the BB-8, and he's going to draw a few cards. Nope, he's going to stop at 11. Interesting. That could be indicative that he has a Finn. So Finn can come down for free here. Okay, let's see if Fox initiates a drain. I know it's only a drain of 1, but any point of damage right now is a good thing, especially because you don't have Scum, so you're not going to get that 2 force retrieval from initiating a battle. So, personally, I'd like to see Fox go to space. And that's what he's going to do. So there's Boba Fett V. So he's checking to see if he can get the Slave 1 symbol of fear. And it looks like it is in his deck because he's taking his time. And CRG hasn't verified, so. And we saw that CRG has, again, he has the profundity, he has Poe. Okay, so there comes down the Slave 1. And there's Jabba Space Cruiser. So he's going to get an alien leader aboard for free. I think that's what he was checking for. And there is Thrawn. Alien Thrawn, better known as the Tom Hayde Thrawn. So again, CRG is going to have to do something now. And he reinforces with Greedo. So now he's going to be able to retrieve because he satisfies for simple tricks and nonsense. Interestingly that he decided to come down with Greedo not as the react. So, I mean, that tells me that he wanted to draw those last 3 cards. Again, because he doesn't have the Scum, he could draw those 3 cards. And he could, if he drew those 3 cards and activated one with Wipe, Greedo would just be a card in his hand. So now he looks like he's drawing. He's got 14 power. He's drawing 2 Destiny up in space. Let's see what CRG can do about that. Again, he's got the profundity. He's got Poe. Does he have a Holdo? Maybe. Does he have a Rebel Leadership Virtual to grab the Holdo? Or to use it in a space battle? Okay, Fox playing Masterful Move. So interesting that he's using his 1 force to grab a card with Masterful Move. Interesting. I would have thought that he would have done that later, but now that that the problem here that's going to stop him from grabbing a card, using an Imperior, the Zizor's Bounty, the Stunning Leader, any of that's okay. So he saved one. Okay, I'm sorry, he saved one, and then he just activated with Wipe. Okay, that I'm fine with. Okay, he's going to lose the pass. Okay, so he loses his 1 Masterful Move to the BBA ping. And again, so yeah, I will be covering the looks like Justin Desai and Greg Shaw will be playing tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So look for that tomorrow. I'll be covering that game. That's going to be game 1 of their OCS match. Greg ended up beating Steve Baroni, who's a teammate and friend of Justin Desai. Justin, who actually just celebrated his 40th birthday yesterday. So happy belated birthday to Justin Desai. And I believe Justin, let me see, I'm trying to remember who Justin played. Okay, so yeah, CRG is coming down with his Profundity, so yeah, he's got something to come to do there. And there's a barrier from Fox. He did have his 1 barrier. Oh, Justin beat Tom Damon in the first round. Justin is the number 2 seed, so good job on Justin. Yeah. And just for some information, Greg Shaw was the only underdog, essentially, to advance. I only say that because Eric Hunter and Jolson was an 8 and 9 seed, and so just a little bit of interesting stuff for the OCS. Again, that's going to be tomorrow. Okay, so there comes the Bright Hope. So, and Anakin coming down onto the Profundity as well. So Anakin's adding 3 to the power. And he's going to add 1. So both players are drawing 2 Destiny. Anakin's going to add 1 to each of CRG's Destiny. And he has the Bright Hope. So that's a nice little space package. Bright Hope, not normally a card that you see in Legend, so props to the CRG, going a little different. I can assume that's because he has the pullable Profundity. He has Rey, who can pull out cards from the use pile. She can pull cards from the bottom of his force pile, so. But again, those ships are barriered. And there is Finn. So, interesting enough, he's going with Finn not as a react. So both players avoiding the react. That would have been a free react up in space. Interesting that he did that. He's not going to battle this turn, so. Maybe he's got. I think he's got to be worried about some sort of a react canceller. That's the only reason for him to go with Finn there. That's true. Yeah, there was just an errata on Legend where you need 2 resistance characters to do a redraw. But I also think it's because he's got to be wary of a react canceller. Again, being that people know that OA and Legend are probably the 2 best line side decks in this format, you want to avoid those. Up there goes his only General Leia off the top of his reserve deck. That's quite a significant loss. And Tarkin's Bounty, the best virtual card. The best dark side virtual card ever made comes onto Thrawn, so he's going to be able to pull any card he wants out of his force pile. I think if you're CRG, you might consider putting Walkling out of play here just to retrieve that Leia because she is so important. I mean, we saw him use Brave Resistance but and put Rose back to get Poe, so okay, he's still deciding on what he wants to take. He's got 13 cards to decide from, so let's see. And he did activate and use the Masterful Move, so he should know what is in his force pile before he came down with the Tarkin's Bounty. So I like that play there. After playing Masterful Move to get the kick. I think if you're CRG, you got to come down with some sort of alien presence, or you want to reinforce with space. I mean, yeah, you're gonna cause the flip here, but oh, yep, he's gonna come down with Darth Vader. Darth Vader virtual, so he's looking for either the Darth Vader's custom tie or the shuttle. Both can be played because they are virtual. Yep, and there's Vader's custom tie. Vader custom ties are going to be really, really good here. It so it's immune to attrition less than 5, but more importantly, he can cancel the game text of a passenger or pilot of less than ability of 4. So he can cancel Poe's game text right here. That's huge. Okay, he's looking for a docking bay or another ship. He still has 6 cards to work with. Yeah, being able to cancel post game text right here is going to be pretty good. Yeah, I like this build. I really do. I like this court build. You can tell that. Yeah, the Vader custom tie came up really popular after the NPC when Jared Konsker played a SSA or slip sliding away virtual version of it with dig up a cave, and he basically used Vader's custom tie. Cancel it was really good against Diplo because you would drop that against the Tantive with R2 and C3PO, cancel their game text. So if you're going to beat them down first turn, you cancel their game text so they can't go to the Dune Sea, so they go lost, and that just destroys Diplo. Dylan is apparently excited because of his teammate here. Yeah, we might see. This is not looking good for CRG at this point. Yeah, he has the redraw, but again, Poe's going to be canceled. He loses 1 destiny. And I think if you're Fox, you're okay with losing the Thrawn here. You really don't care. Oh, you European guys are amazing. I love it. I've got to come over to Germany next time Worlds is over there. But again, Fox is taking his time. He's down by 5 minutes on CRG clockwise. So, and I don't think Fox is going to be able to kick CRG out of space here. We're probably going to see like Finn go away just because he has the redraw, he has the Bright Hope Destiny, and he's got the Force Projection. Yeah, I could come over for Euros, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm in the process of moving, or I'm going to be moving in the next 6 months, so I got to save up as much money as I can. Plus, I want to buy a house, so there's that. So it will probably be a year or two, or before I can get over to Europe. Yeah, for those who don't go over to the European tournaments, they do a great job. The venue's amazing. I know that they are accepting donations to assist with the venue. Uh, buy one in Germany. So yeah, so they do a great job. The swag they do is amazing. They actually came out with another game called Beer Wars, where everyone who played at Worlds last year, one got a copy, and it's basically around those players who were at Worlds last year. Uh, I strongly recommend going over there. I've heard nothing but great things. So again, yeah, if you have the chance to go play Star Wars CCG in Europe, go do it. Okay, Fox is taking his time. He's being really methodical at this point. He's got a lot of his activation out on the table already. So it's kind of curious. Like, I think one thing is, I don't think he really wants to battle right away because he's going to flip CRG, and that would become a drain of 2 at the pit instead of a drain of 1. But again, with Erica sitting out there, I think he's fine. Okay, CRG is going to take a card with Ray. And Fox is going to draw up, so. And he's going to go past that 12 card hand. So. A Grimtosh might be in play. I would be extremely surprised to see if CRG has it. But I do like the. I do like the not battling here. Mostly because you're not flipping CRG. And the longer that Legend is not flipped, the better. But I wish he would have came down with one more pilot or passenger for a more forfeit. Okay, there goes Houndstooth from the reserve deck. And you're probably going to see CRG Force right here. Yep. And a black 2. So both from reserve deck. Houndstooth isn't really a card that we see a lot of play, but yeah, while Bosk is piloting Adams 1 Battle Destiny, I mean, I think he would have liked to have seen that card in play, or even the black 2, because black 2 would have worked with Vader, and he would have been able to subtract 2 from a Destiny. Yeah, Gold Leader and Gold 1 would be really bad here. Okay, CRG is going to. He activates, and he does his damage. Fox activates one with Wipe, and then CRG is going to use his once per game Force Pile Pool. Personally, I don't think Legend needs that. It's ridiculously good, and you can do it on the 7 side. I think it should be limited to the 0 side at least. But again, that's me. Oh, there goes Padme. Padme's going to cancel Vader's game text. That's pretty bad. So you got to think that CRG used his once per game Force Pile Pool on the Padme. He didn't check or anything, so he just did a blind draw. So now Vader can't cancel. He can't subtract 2. Actually, no, he can still cancel because the game text is on the Vader's custom tie. So he won't be able to add to the 3 power on the starship, and he can't subtract 2. So, and there's Hera. So that's now CRG does get his 3 battle destiny. Yeah, I corrected myself, Drew. I remember that Vader subtracts 2, the ship cancels. So he'll still be able to cancel. He can cancel Hera or he can cancel Poe, but he's still going to get 2 battle destiny. So CRG is going to battle. I think this is the only. This right here is the only reason why Fox should have battled. Okay, let's see if CRG will flip. Okay, Fox is going to use his once per game pull with Boba Fett. So he's going to pull a card and put a card back. Yeah, the Bright Hope is not immune, but he's got a lot of forfeit. He's got the Finn. Finn is forfeit, I believe 7. So, or he's forfeit 6. He can lose the Finn. He can lose the Anakin, but at this point, you have, like I said, he's got the Bright Hope. He's got the Force projection. There's really nothing. I mean, he doesn't really need anything else. And I mean, all of Fox's ships are immune. The Slave One is immune less than 5. The Space Cruiser is less than 5. So all those ships are immune less than 5. Yeah, I like that the Vader's custom tie actually has its own immunity. That itself is really good because again, if Vader gets canceled, so I think that's why we're starting to see more of the Vader's custom tie along as well as the canceling of the game text over the shuttle. I know the shuttle has an extra uh, pilot slot for like a Grand Moff Tarkin or something, but canceling a character's game text and having immune less than 5 is pretty good. Okay, Fox is deciding on what he wants to take with Boba Fett. Yeah, I think exactly. You got to cancel the Hera just because he's got 2 rebels, or he's got 1 rebel. So if he draws like a 0, he can redraw. Okay, there's the flip from CRG. So now Force projection is going to come into play. Okay. Oh, he's gonna. That's right. He's gonna add 1 with Padme here. I wonder. Yeah, the ship's got to light up for Fox. So. I don't see anything else that would light up for him at this point. So. Okay, so he's gonna cancel Hera's game text. Okay, so both players are gonna be able to draw 2. Up there it is. I'm getting pretty good at this. So he's gonna add 2 battle destiny because Finn and Poe are there. So he goes from having 3 destiny down to 2, and he plays that to add 2. But there's a sense from Fox, sense on Dooku, so that is a success. So he's not going to get the 2 Destiny, but he's going to lose 2 cards to Do or Do Not, and he's going to lose his sense. So, smart play from Fox. I think he's more than happy to lose 2 here. So he loses the Sith Fury and a double back from his reserve deck. Okay, there goes the I'm getting pretty good at this. Okay, Ray's going to draw a card. He can't use solo on that because it is a unique card. So he's going to use his objective to look at the top card of his reserve deck, its force pile, so he can stack. And they both go onto his reserve deck, so he knows what he's going to be drawing for Destiny. I think Fox is out of options on table, so probably going to see Destiny now at this point. Okay, let's see. He draws a 4. Oh, he draws a 5 because of Anakin. And a 5, so that's 10 right there. I think that's Thrawn and the Space Cruiser at least. Okay, so Fox is going to play Dark Time from the Rebellion to subtract 1. I would actually save that for the Bright Home Destiny. But I didn't top 8 at Worlds last year, so okay, so he's got a Destiny of 9. And CRG's going to play You Do Have Your Moments Lost, so he's adding 3. So he's got 12 now. So again, that's still only the Thrawn and the Space Cruiser. It's 6 and 6. So yeah, right there. That's still those 2 ships. So he's gonna get rid of another guy. You got to think it's Fett. Ooh, Fox draws a 1. Oh, you do not want to see that. And a 5. CRG's going to cancel that and cause a redraw. And then he draws a 2. Yeah, yeah, the force projection here is smart. 2, so he's got 1, and he's still got the option of using the Bright Hope here, so he's not going to lose anything. Unless he draws a 0, he's not going to lose anything in this fight. There's the Destiny to attrition, so yeah, that's another guy. And he draws a 5 for the yeah. He draws a 5 for Bright Hope, so CRG's not losing anything, and Fox has to lose the Jabba Space Cruiser Thrawn and another character. Yeah, I like the weapon levitation too. I like seeing cards that we don't normally see being played in this format. Now, I mean, you could lose the Vader here. Actually, no. Yeah, Vader's not immune less than 9, so you could lose the Vader and his tie. Still have the Space Cruiser and Fett. You're still getting 2 Destiny there. Yeah, I think that's the better option. I think I think that that's the right option. Is you lose the Vader and the tie. Yeah, and that's what Fox decided to do. Okay. And I think that, yeah. So now CRG is going to be able to drain for 2 on the ground. He's got that 1 ping. And the only thing it really cost him was the force projection. It did cost him the Destiny Adder, but I mean, at that point, it baited out a sense, and it made Fox lose 2 cards. So if you're CRG, you're fine with that. I mean, you have a pretty significant space fleet at this point. He lost Vader. He lost the Thrawn. You've already seen him lose the Boskin, the Houndstooth. You already seen him lose a Blacktooth. So you got to be thinking, what else does he have for space? We haven't seen an Ellis and Hinthra. We haven't seen the Ponda Baba V. We haven't seen Woof V. So yeah, he can use the player at the adder is again with solo, but you know he's got a Gick, so there's really no point. Um, you got to think CRG's playing at least one. Obviously, you got to think he's playing at least one Jedi Levitation in his deck. Okay, so Fox can still drain and retrieve, so he can get that Vader's tie back. Oh, there's the Jedi Lev. So he can't get the Leia back at this point. Yeah, I would have stuck that. I would have sacrificed differently. Now, if you know that you're going to get rid of the Vader and the tie, I would have maybe put them down differently because the tie doesn't do anything because Vader's not going to be on there. Yeah, yeah. I hope CRG's not playing a second Jedi Levitation. Um, I'm trying to think of what other retrieval. I mean, he could have some other form of retrieval to get the Leia back, but again, at this point, there's really you control space. You're doing a drain of 2 on the ground. Uh, you're if you can clear Fox from space, it's another drain of 2. Actually, it's a drain of 4. That's a good point. Found somebody you have. Yeah, okay. Fox has the force push. Let's see. He's still got 3 cards left in his reserve deck, so let's see. It's hyperspeed 5. He could get over to Acto at this point. Oh, Joe Olson. Joe Olson is joining us after the Echo Base Trooper, the Adam Fletcher, and Bastion game. Joe, how did that game go? He could get Fett over to Acto and start draining for 2 there, but he would have to. I would have to occupy a second battleground to get around the simple tricks and nonsense. Okay, so not only do we have the Justin Desai and Greg Shaw OCS match tomorrow, but we have the Bastion and Adam Fletcher game tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern. So that's going to be a good one. TTO versus EBO. That's a great match. God, I would love to have watched that one. That one just sounds fun. And it's a little surprising to me that TTO beat EBO. Like, I would think that EBO, you have the possibility of blowing up the Death Star, and at that point, you got to give the game to EBO. Okay, Fox is still taking. He's taking his time deciding on what he wants with Force Push. At this point, though, he's down by 14 minutes on CRG, so the clock is starting to come into play. Okay. So Mienda and his ship can move, shoot in the move phase. So yeah, that would do it. I mean, TTO itself can draw a lot of destiny, though. I mean, the second sector adds one with with the Death Star there. He's got the super laser to blow up like a lot of the big ships, so you can blow up the Profanity, you can blow up the Bright Hope, Tantive. Masanya is pretty good in that matchup just because you can subtract two from each of the weapons draws. So I mean that kind of can save a ship, but I mean when you draw three, that's still hard to get around. Yeah. I will say this though. I think if you're Fox, I think you're kind of regretting not battling this turn that you dropped Vader. Ah, oh, that's rough. Okay, so Maul with lightsabers coming down. So I like this play because now you can hit the Solo or the BB-8 and a Dark Giant lightsaber. So wow, we got some weapons coming down. Okay, there's Wolf in space. I think if you're a Fox though, I think you want to get to Acto with the Fett so you can start draining. I mean, you have a Gick. You're gonna occupy two sites on the ground now because you're gonna move the Dooku over. Oh, and there's Django as well. So I don't know. I think I think at this point, well, I mean, you really can't give up. You could give up on space if you can get the three battlegrounds, but I mean, you already saw one Leia go away. You don't know what else he's running character wise. Anakin's up in space. Hera's up in space. Um, we haven't seen a Chewie. We haven't seen a any. We haven't seen the Chewie. We haven't seen General Kenobi. Um, again, there's no Lando Scoundrel. There's no EPP Qui Gon. So I want to know what other characters CRG's running because Ray's already on the table, so there's no EPP Ray. You can't play EPP Obi-Wan. You can still play like I said, you can play General Kenobi. You can play Obi-Wan Virtual. Okay, yep, and there's the move from Dooku. So he's going to block the two drains, but he's still going to get pinged from BB-8. Hmm. Yeah, Fox just needs to do some damage. I mean, you already baited out the force projection. CRG's already flipped, so you can swing at his characters there. I believe the ship just stays there. But again, I could be wrong. I've been wrong a lot. I think that's a Joe Olson question just because Joe is a superior player to me. Okay, so he puts the two cards onto his reserve deck. He puts them in his order that he wants, and he's gonna Ray with it. So I like that. So up and there's an escape pod. So let's see. He's probably looking for his Hojix. Yep, there's his Hojix. Yeah, that's probably that's an interesting way to stop the blow up attempt. Unless you got like a Luke the Last Jedi, who is a pilot, but he doesn't add anything to the power, but he is a pilot. So you can use him to blow up, and he's ability 7. So he's one of the better pilots out there. Okay, Fox is going to lose Krennic from his hand. I think you just want to run away with Reyes and Solo and BB-8. Yeah, Pol Koon, who is a pilot. Doesn't see a lot of play, though. I was kind of hoping CRG was going to play a hyperdrive. I like hyperdrive in this format. You only get one Obi-Wan, you only get one Master Qui-Gon, but you have so many other clones, you have so many other Jedi that you can use. I think it would be a fun and interesting deck to play. So Woof pretty much negates the Anakin up in space. Again, up there's Chewie coming down. So yeah, I think he's gonna run with Rey, Solo, and BB-8. And I think that's the right move. You might be able to battle up in space. You lose the Hera. So he plays Impressive Enforcement. I don't know why. I wouldn't play the Impressive Enforcement here just because he's got the Do or Do Not shield on the table. Um. Oh, good point. Yeah. Yeah, if he comes down with somebody else, yeah, that's a good point. But I think if you're CRG, I think right now you can battle up in space. Vader's gone, so you really don't have to worry about that. The only other Vader you're going to see is Emperor's Enforcement. Oh, there's the laser cannon battery coming down onto the Jabba space cruiser. We could see the Bright Hope go away here. Even the Profundity. Like, if he can take out the Profundity, he goes from being hurting up in space to being in a really good spot. Okay, and Padme adds 1, 2. Hera is still there, so he draws a 5. Uh, he uses 3 to draw the 5, but yep, he's gonna cause. There's the redraw. Now I don't know, and he draws a 1. Oof. Oh, stupid legend keeping that Profundity around. And Solo is going to play the. I'm being pretty good at this. So, he's got the Gick, but yeah, he's trying to force him out. I don't know why Poe and Hera. Oh, yeah, no, Hera's not adding because there's no Imperial there. Doy. So, CRG's going to draw 4, Destiny into attrition. So, Fox. Oh, wow. Nice little turn of events. So, he draws. There's a 2. Six, so 25. It's 11 attrition. $16, and he still has Padme, so 11, 17. You're not going to knock him out of space at this point. Okay, 4. Now, again, he still has the Profundity. He still has Padme. So I think you lose the Padme. She covers that right there. Excuse me. Yeah, it's 18 to attrition, so you're not knocking him out of space. And yeah, you're only losing the. Maybe you want to keep the Padme and get rid of the Hera. Because with Anakin there, you're getting another Destiny to attrition. Yeah, I think you'll lose the Hera at this point. No, he's losing Finn. Interesting. So losing the Finn actually cancels. So he's not going to be able to redraw up in space. I think that's a mistake. And because he lost first, you can keep the Jabba space cruiser with the gun on top, and now you don't have the redraw. Yeah. So he loses. I don't like losing the wolf. Yeah, I would have lost Fett, the two Fets, the slave one, kept Wolf up there. You would still would have had one Destiny. You still had the gun. You have the Gick. Yeah, I don't like losing the Wolf there at all. Because now, right now, you're not getting Destiny. You only have 5 cards in hand. And CRG is just going to move those 3 guys over. So, I mean, you're getting a drain of 2 in this turn, and you're retreating 1. But there's no other. There's no more Jangos. There's no more Fets that you can play. Um, you're not going to put Vader up in space. Actually, it's a drain of 4. Or no, it's a drain of 3 because of the 2 sabers. So I mean, he could have did that regardless, but I mean, you lose the slave 1. You could still retrieve the Fett, but I think you'll lose the slave 1, and then you stack it maybe like slave 1, Django, and Boba on top if you really want the Boba back. Yep, there's a nice old drain of 3 coming down. Okay, Odin Nestler, Hear Me Baby, and Collision, a card that we haven't seen. I don't think I've ever seen that been played. Lose 1 force if opponent has at least 2 starships present at the same system. Draw Destiny. If Destiny is less than those starships, opponent must lose 1 of them. Interesting. Oh, boss coming down, so now he's gonna add in a Destiny. Opponent smuggler. While opponent may not draw 1 Destiny, so he turns off Solo. He's power 7, and he's immune less than 2. Yeah, you got to think like CRG losing Finn in that battle was a mistake because it turns off the flip or it turns off the redraw. And if you're Fox, being able to blow up the if you could track that 5 now that he lost the Finn, and blow up the profundity and only to have to deal with the Bright Hope, that just changes the entire game. Okay, so he's gonna drop Bosk and then move. Um, but he leaves Dooku alone at the pit. Fox only has 15 in Life Force, 10 Enhanced, and 25 to work with. CRG has 19 in Life Force and 11 to work with. There's a Rescue in the Clouds. So he gets a 5 back. Oh, no, he doesn't get the 5 back. Fox grabs that. I like that grab. The Profundity, I believe, is armor 7, so he would need an 8 to hit. Yeah, so that 5 would have hit if CRG wasn't flipped or if he didn't have 2 resistance characters on the table. So we're moving into CRG's turn. I think if you're CRG, if you fight on the ground, you want to shoot Chewie at Erica, turn off that retrieval. There goes Pride of the Empire. I like that card. So there's a Sorry About the Mess. Sorry About the Mess can only target Greedo. There's a Villager. Okay, so a card we haven't seen in a Legend. At least I haven't seen it in a Legend. And there's his one Rebel Leadership. So the Greedo's going to be hit. Bye-bye, Greedo. He's still up in power, though. I don't think you risk the battle because of the Maul. He can swing. He adds one to each of the Destiny. You're only getting one Destiny, so play Secret Plans. And now he's going to decide to use his objective to look at the the top cards of his force pile and reserve deck. Oh, Menace Fade's coming down. Interesting. So he does. So he's got a control for Menace Phase to come into effect. So the only way he's going to be able to control is if he can move all of his characters from off of Tatooine over to Maz's castle and getting rid of the Jabba Space Cruiser. I don't like battling up in space because Fox has saved 3. You can't cause a redraw here, And you want to save for neighboring leads? Yeah, he's got to get another resistance character up in space. And I think the only one that can really. I mean, Lore Santecas is still technically in play. Okay, so he's going to battle on the ground. Chewie has to swing. Chewie's got to swing at the Erica at this point. Yeah, you want her gone. Nope, he's going to go after Maul. Interesting. Draws a 4. And a 3. So, yeah, that's just enough to hit Maul. Now, Maul can swing in retaliation. See who he goes after. Oh, he blind. There's the blaster proficiency to make Maul lost. Okay. But Fox has the imbalance combo. Okay, so Maul is going to stick around here. I don't know. I don't like this battle from CRG. And he's going to swing at Chewie. Okay. So, I mean, that's going to make Solo lost. Point man. We already saw him lose his Oda Nessa combo, so he can't. So Chewie isn't going to have his forfeit anymore. Unless he has a force aid. Or first aid. And 2. So yeah, Chewie's going to be hit. He could have swung at anybody he wanted with those destinies. Heck, I would have gone after BB-8. Okay, he's gonna use Ray's game text. He's already used Solo, so Solo can't. He's not gonna be in play. He's not adding any Destiny. And he draws a 6. Oof. So that's gonna get rid of the Erica at least. And Fox draws a 6. That is canceled and redrawn into a 2. um. Mm. Yeah, he's 5 in attrition because of. Okay. Oh, yes, Cat is +2, and then Maul adds +1. That's right. So he loses Ray instead of Solo. Interesting. But there goes Erica, so he got that force retrieval off. Oof. You gotta think Fox has some other characters in his hand. I think if you're CRG, oof. I don't think you battle up in space. Because you don't have another resistance character to cause a redraw. I mean, you already saw him have a set. He has a, unless you're like tracking Fox's destiny. If you're CRG, there's no reason to battle up in space. So yeah, he's just gonna draw up. He drew a 6 from. He drew a 6, so I mean, he would have to track that. Um, yeah, if he tracks that 6 and is able to blow up the profundity on this turn, that's huge. But he only has 7 or 13 cards left. I mean, he can activate it all. Solo is sitting by himself right now. Oof. There's a lot Fox can do. I mean, he's not out of this game. I think the bigger thing is he's worrying. I would worry about is he's got only 10 minutes left to CRG's 22. Okay, he's gonna activate. He activates 6, so maybe he is tracking to that 6 to blow up the profundity. So if we see a profundity get shot down, personally, I'll be really happy, just because that makes CRG remember his Raz. I like CRG, and I'm rooting for both players, but punishments. Okay, so let's see. Fox can draw, cause 2 force loss here with the drain. You gotta think what those 10 cards are in his hands. We saw Cad. He's got to have an Aura Sing in his hand or in his deck somewhere. Maybe he's got a Mara Jade with lightsaber. I'm trying to think what else he can have. Maybe we can see like another. Maybe I wouldn't say maybe the. Well, we saw Darth Sidious in his deck. Or Lord Sidious. I'm sorry. Maybe a Mara Jade with lightsaber. Yeah, he activates one more. So you got to think he is tracking for a high enough destiny to blow up the profundity. Okay, CRG's going to lose too. He loses quite a mercenary from his hand. Oh, that's a good card. Good way to make people lose to Ellis Hellrot. Let's see. Then he loses effective repairs combo. Oh, that would have been a good card. He could have actually gotten his profundity back. Oh, there's the Arsing with blaster rifles, so she comes down against the solo. He does have his Hojix, so, but interesting thing, if he loses the BB-8 in the battle here, which he would have to play the Hojix, Fox could capture him and then add one more to a drain. Things are not looking good for CRG at this point. They're not. Okay, so he is going to battle up in space. So like I said, he has his Gix, so he could get cleared out of his battle, but the profundity is going to get shot down. There's the 6. Kaboom! And CRG is kicking himself for losing Finn. He has to be. And he loses a Holdo, so there's another resistance character that would have been able to flip for him. I mean, all he's going to do here is just get rid of... He is going to clear Fox from space, so he'll have the Bright Hope. But that's all he's going to have after this battle. Okay, let's see how he puts the cards down onto his lost pile, because he still has his Walkling Retrieval. Okay, there goes the Profundity. Anakin, Padme, Poe. So Poe is on top. And there is the Gick. So, like I said, there's the Bright Hope. CRG's got to have to reinforce with something on the Bright Hope just in case. And there goes the Walkling, so I'll be able to get Poe back. And, ooh, Ara's going to shoot at BB-8. Okay. Smart move. That makes sure that he gets rid of the BB-8. Again, he's got a Hojix in his hand, so it's not really going to matter. I also think that's him just tracking his destiny, so he knew he was going to hit the BB-8, and he wanted to be able to hit the solo. Draws a 5. So yeah, he's just going to get rid of the Hojix here. And he draws a Rose for Destiny. Okay. So there goes Bosk, there goes Solo, and BB-8. He's not going to have to Hojix out of the battle. Okay. Yeah, but now BB-8 is captured. Actually, no. I'm sorry about that. I stand corrected. He may capture. I'm surprised he didn't. I'm kind of surprised he didn't. Just to get that extra little bit of damage. Okay, so he's going to leave Aura and Dooku where they are, and he's just going to draw a few cards. CRG activating 9, saving 5. Interesting. I think he activated so that way he can get the Poe out onto the Profundity. He is going to be able to drain for 2 right now. But if he drains and then puts Poe out, that's all he's going to be able to do this turn. Well, essentially. Yeah, I think if you're Fox, I would have grabbed the BB-8 because then you could pay the 6, drain for 4. Okay, there's the Brave Resistance. He puts back Admiral Satora. So yeah, he's going to be able to pull the Poe. He decided not to drain. Okay. So he's going to have 5 to work with after he deploys Poe onto the Bright Hope. What I'm saying is if he would have captured BB-8, he could have paid 6 to drain for 4. 1 at the pit and then 1 at the audience chamber. Because BB-8, when he's captured, he adds 1 to the drain. Yeah, adds 1 to force drain at the same time. While captive, adds 1 to force drain. Okay, so, wow. So instead of Poe coming down, Ahsoka's coming down. And there's the barrier again. Now, I mean, she's immune to the weapon, but barrier says no battle. So Fox will be able to do something even more on his turn next turn. CRG's probably so he's had the Profanity buried. Now he says Ahsoka barriered. Gotta be thinking, why didn't I grab that barrier? So he's still got 5 force to work with this turn. Okay, so now he gets Poe out. Okay, so he's got some reinforcement onto the Bright Hope, and he satisfies battle order. He satisfies coward. So yeah, yeah. Both decks want to fight in their own way. Um, Having that single barrier twice in his hand when he needed it has been extremely good for Fox. Again, though, he's got to hurry up. He's under 6 minutes at this point. He's down by 11 minutes, so. But he activates 11. He's used his Gek. CRG has yet to use his Hojix, so. Ahsoka is immune to Orsing's gun here. So he's gonna want to overpower her. But I think if you're CRG, you might consider just leaving her there, depending on what the battle damage is. Okay, there goes the Falcon. And Saw Gerrera. Okay. Saw who had a bunch of game text to now only 4 lines. Okay, there's Hondo. Draws 1 destiny, so he's up on power and Balatique. So 12 to 5. Ahsoka's gonna be able to subtract 1, but you're only gonna get, unless you draw super high if you're CRG, you're only gonna get rid of 1 of those characters. Yeah, he's down by 7, so. Oh, he's got the Icon Addlum, so he's going to add a Destiny to power. Okay, so that changes this battle up a little bit. So it's going to get him closer. It's going to get him. He's down by 5 now instead of 7. So he is closer. He won't be able to cancel and redraw here, so it's a 3. So 15 to 7, down by 8. I think if he draws like a 4 or 5, you might want to peel. But he draws a 2. So no, he's down by 6. He is immune. Oof. I think. Oh, he loses the Ahsoka. I don't know. I personally, I would have considered just keeping her around because you are doing 2 damage up in space. So you're matching the damage race. You can come back and battle. You're not going to get hit next turn. And you know your opponent has lost his Gik, so you can essentially stack your Destiny so that, I mean, she's 5, he's 5. If you could draw 5, maybe even a 6, you're not doing too bad. So I mean, 6 isn't a lot. You have 5 cards in hand, so yeah. I mean, you could have just kept the character there. And that might have forced Dooku to come over. So, but again, CRG is a pretty good player. I trust his judgment at this point. So we'll see what he does on his turn. He activates 6, so he's working with 7, but he is going to use his objective to look at the top cards of each of his piles / decks. Okay. Again, Fox is under 4 minutes. I don't know of what the time rules are in this format, so if anybody can tell me what they are, because if Fox goes to time, personally, I don't want to see him go to time because I'm enjoying this match. Okay, CRG's got 8 cards to work with, 5 in his hand. Um, right now, Life Force and Hands are the same. Both players have 19 to work with. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't see anything in the initial post, so let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything on the forums about times. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't see anything on there. Okay, so Obi-Wan is coming down now. Obi-Wan going against Dooku. Interesting because Dooku is immune less than 8 here, and he's got a saber, but he is less power, so okay, he is gonna battle. Oh, he's got the weapon limitation, so he's gonna steal that Dark Jedi lightsaber. Yoink. So I mean, Dooku is still he's immune less than 6 or less than 8, and Obi Wan's now drawn a 4, so 10 to. So oh, he adds 1. That's right. So it's 11 to 6. He's only immune less than 6, so draws a 4. So he's going to cause 1 point of damage, but again, more importantly, he stole that lightsaber like the thief he is. Oh, that's right. Legend does cap the immunity. I always forget about that. Wow, there's so much stuff on Legend, it's silly. Okay, he's going to pay 1 to drain. He's going to pay the 3 to drain for 1. He did activate everything, so we might see him just drain and then move. Yeah, I think at this point... Oh, nope. There comes Tarkin. Tarkin's going to block that drain at the pit. I don't... Yeah, he's not going to battle, so... And Aura Sync's moving over, so... I got a mechanical keyboard. I can't help it. So CRG is going to be able to. So he moves all of his characters over. I'm not. I don't know how big I feel about that. I mean, CRG is going to be able to drain for 2 open space. He's not going to have to pay. Fox has to pay. And CRG is just going to run. Yep, there's the drain of 2 up at Kashyyyk. Goes Lord Sidious and Masterful Move, so he loses at 6. So, I mean, that was a ridiculously good turn for CRG. He gets rid of Dooku. He grabs the saber with the weapon levitation, so... And there comes Rey with lightsaber. Smart. And the Tantive comes down as well. Okay, I don't think you need it. I think the Tantive is just better used as a card to lose into a 4-strain. But I think CRG is just being safe at this point. I mean, he's just going to be draining for 2. Fox has to pay to drain. Each of his drains are only going to be 1. Yeah, it's looking even worse for Fox at this point. Oh, never mind. Here comes the Ellis. So good on CRG realizing that Fox hasn't ran out of tricks yet. He does have the Ellis and Black 5. So yeah, there's a so that is a Destiny. So yep, CRG just he saved himself by not just having the Bright Hub with Poe. Looks like Fox has said that his time is running out and there's not much more that he can do in this game. He has said GG, so it looks like CRG is going to be moving on as Fox just conceded. So congratulations to CRG for winning his game and advancing his team into the next round or the finals or into the next part of the EuroCup. So again, tomorrow we have game 2 of Bastion and Adam Fletcher. We also have Greg Shaw versus Justin Desai. So a lot of action. Stay tuned for both of those. Again, I believe the Justin Desai game is at 1 o'clock Eastern, and the Bastion game is at 2:30 Eastern. So if you got a lot going on tomorrow, so stay tuned, and we'll see everybody then. Take care.